Hi guys, in today's lesson we're going to practice a little bit the imperfect tense. I've prepared three exercises for you. Two exercises I'm going to do with you, one at a time. We're going to also, as you can see, some words are marked in red, so those are going to be what I consider to be unknown words or words that are not necessarily, let's say, easy to translate from French to English. So I'm going to be translating them for you, so you can also get a sense of the French vocabulary as well. And we're going to also put the verbs in the parentheses at the imperfect tense in order to have a complete text at the end. So let's start, shall we? For the first one, we have une fois, dans un petit village paisible, une vieille dame nommée Marie. So basically, we have to put the verb être at the third person singular because we have such a pronoun il over here. In order to do that, we're going to basically write here instead of the suspension dots. We're going to have something like, but we're going to have être because we're going to take out the re for this case, and we're going to put the termination, which of the 6 terminations for imperfect we're going to use. A, Y, T, because we're in the third person singular. Il était une fois, there was a time, fois means time, dans un petit village, in a small village, paisible means peaceful. So in a small peaceful village, une vieille dame, une dame means lady. Vieille is the feminine for vieux, which means old. So basically you'd say un vieux garçon, or or une vieille personne, or une vieille dame, and so on and so forth, in order to express age in the sense of old or young or etc. Nommé means named. Marie. Chaque soir, each evening, sorry for that, elle, sur son porche, en bois. Le porche means the veranda, and en bois means wooden. Usually, when we refer to let's say the material side of things, what are things made of? You'd say en verre, for example, to mean that is made of glass, or en bois in order to say that they are made of wood, and so on and so forth. So in this case, each evening she and we have to conjugate the verb reflexive verb s'asseoir and the imperfect tense. Now, the thing is with this verb has an exception, and let's talk about it. Normally, you would take out the OYR, and you would basically be left with this, where you would have to put this termination. But the thing is, the pronunciation doesn't make so much sense, right? It does sound very well. So what happens is that in French, you are going to put here an Y, right? So you're going to have something like elle s'asseyait, all right? And I'm going to mark it because this is a specific case. You have to learn about it, let's say, the hard way by working through it. And I marked it with green. I'm going to mark with green the exceptions. Elle s'asseyait, s'asseoir means to sit down, right? So each evening she would sit down on the wooden veranda. Et se remémorer means to remember, to recall something. Et this one is easy because it's a first group verb. So you're going to have something like this. Et se, because you're conjugating a reflexive verb that is going to be at the third singular person, because we're still talking about elle, which points out to Marie. We're still talking about a female person. Et se remémore, because we take out the er termination, that we have over here, we remove it, so left with the radical, and we attach the corresponding the imperfect termination, and we're going to have something like this. Et se remémorer les jours passés, which means the past days or the old days, right? If we're going to make a translation like that. Elle savoir. Now, savoir is a tense that's going to be conjugated, that's going to be conjugated in a similar manner as we have the verbs in the first group. We take out the OYR, we're left with sav, and we're going to put there the termination that we want. Elle savait is going to be AYT. I have it now perfect. Elle savait que la vie means the life, était was, un voyage means a journey, right? So if you are going to say at some point that you are traveling somewhere, you are going to say that you are making a journey. Je fais un voyage à France. I make a journey to France. Et elle se rappelait. It's going to be conjugated to imperfect in the same manner we did se remémorer. And actually, it's a synonym to se remémorer, which means to recall something, to remember something. Se rappeler means the same, to remember something, to recall something, to recollect something. And we're going to write elle se rappelle, right? Because we take out the er termination that we're having, and we put the termination for third singular person. Elle se rappelle. Now, what you do have to remember, it's kind of say a writing rule, is that a consonant that is put in between two vowels it's going to be doubled like this, right? So I'm going to also mark it down like this quickly. Se rappeler des moments qu'il l'avait marqué. Now you notice over here that we have something like an imperfect over here, but it's the imperfect of an auxiliary verb in together with a past participle. Now we haven't talked about this time yet, but I'm going to talk about it in probably one of my next videos. And this time is related to the Lucas Parfait. Lucas Parfait is, let's say, past perfect in English, right? So that would conclude the first paragraph, right? Now we're going to the second paragraph, which is going to be like this. Pendant son enfance, uh, when she was a child, or during her childhood, that those are two different good translations. Des terribles tempêtes. La tempête is the storm, right, in English. So basically, the terrible tempête would mean terrible storms. Now, assiéger is, let's say, is similar to English. It's to take under siege, if you know it, if you know the word is from battle, to basically take something by surprise, right? Take a territory by surprise, a siege. And therefore you have this verb assiéger, which means to take by surprise in this context. So basically what you are going to say here is that during her childhood, terrible storms were taking by surprise the village, right? Her village. So in order to do that, you're going to treat this one, because it's terminated in er, you're going to take out the er, and we're going to uh, put the termination a y, a, e, and t, because the variable tempests are more, right? So you're going to be replacing that subject with il or el, in this case L. So that's one thing to have in mind, right? The number of things the subject represents. And the second thing you have to have in mind is another, let's say, another exception over here, and that is that siéger is a verb that ends in ger. We've talked about this. We've talked about manger, for example, and we noticed that in that case, the radical would maintain the e inside the radical. So the same thing will happen over here, and it will be like this. And I'm going to mark this as an exception because it doesn't happen to all verbs that end in er, right? For example, parler is not a verb that will be conjugated like that. Basically, that happens because there is this group ge that has to be pronounced je, right? So you have to have it inside there, right? And then we have les vents. Les vents are the winds, the violent winds, les vents violents. Attendre means to in different contexts can mean to reach or to attend, right? So you can say something like j'attendais les classes, and you would say that you would attend the classes, right? You would basically reach to the classes, but that is not the natural way to say. Or les vents virulents are attend attendez like this, right? Attendez, vitesse incroyable. Now the thing is, vitesse. Vitesse means speed, and incroyable comes from the word croire, which means to believe. Now you from this you have an adverb, croyable, which means believable, and then you have the reverse of it, incroyable, which can also be numbered according to the noun that is associated with, and therefore you have incredible or unbelievable, right? So in this case, les vents virulents entendez vitesse incroyable would mean the violent winds would reach incredible speeds, et la pluie and the rain, inonder means to flood something. So basically, it's a verb that ends up in er. It's the same thing. You're going to have over here inonder, but ayt, because we're referring to la pluie, which is elle. It's singular. Inonder, chaque fois les rues. Chaque fois means each time. Les rues means the streets. Now, malgré la peur, malgré means despite. It's a very common English word, and it's a very common French word, and I would recommend you to familiarize yourself with it. Malgré la peur means the rain. I'm sorry. La peur means the fear. Okay, la peur means the fear. Les habitants mean the inhabitants of that place. It's pretty similar. Savait, we know that is the conjugation of the verb savoir, it means to know. So the inhabitants knew till that they pouvaient over here, but pouvait written like this, because we take out OYR and attaching AYENT. Pouvait compter. Compter means to, well, now here's an expression that I would like to use. Compter usually means to um, uh, to number, right? Uh, to number something, right? Number the money, compter l'argent, and so on. But in this case, you can also say compter les uns sur les autres means to rely on someone, right? So you can say compter sur moi, which would mean rely on me, or you can say compter les uns sur les autres, which means rely on each other. So ones rely on others. So basically, you can play around with this expression as much as you would like, and I would recommend you to play around with it. And if you're ready, we can go to part 2 of this exercise, which is looking something like this. Now, I'm going to go firstly by through the, let's say, the the vocabulary, and then I'm going to go through the conjugating part, right? So Marie, we know it, we know the character by now. Se souvenir means to remember. It's almost similar to se rappeler, se remémorer. So we are already gaining some inside knowledge of how we can vary those terms in different contexts in order to avoid repetitions. Then we have des soirées. Les soirées are we're referring like to say the evenings, but we're referring the evenings not in the sense of time, but in the sense of um, how do I say it? In the sense of duration, right? So basically, if you would say um, during the evening or yesterday evening, in order to accent a point in time, uh, to underline a point in time, that you would need to use soir. But if you are going to say that during that evening I did something, so you refer it as a period of time that an action took place, then you're going to have soirée, right? So des soirées passées, so that means the old evenings, uh, which passed à boire du thé chaud means which passed by drinking, à boire, boire means to drink, du thé, le thé is the tea, chaud, um, which means hot, can also be replaced with froid, which means cold. Avec sa mère, which means mother. Alors que, that now we have the process of division over here, because normally you write it like this, alors que, but due to the process of division, because you have two words, one that ends in a vowel and one that starts with a vowel, you basically do this, right? And you proceed with an apostrophe over here between. Alors qu'elle, while they, coudre means to sew something with a needle, right? With a needle and wire. Ensemble means together. Sa mère lui avait appris. Now, the thing is, you here, avait appris quelqu'un means to teach someone, right? Now, in this apprendre by itself would mean to be taught by someone or to learn from someone, right? But depending on how you let's say position this indirect complement that we haven't talked about it yet, so I'm not going to go too much into it. You can uh, you can change the meaning of this word apprendre from who is teaching who, right? So in any case, over here it means that his mother taught him to sew toute her, sorry, tissu, uh, beautiful, ben means beautiful, robe means uh, dresses, et à faire, and to do. Des ourlets, les ourlets are like the lower parts, the extremities of the trousers that you're wearing. Parfait means perfect, right? And it's an adjective, so it is the s at the end is basically because the subject that it's referring to is in as plural, right? Ces moments, these moments de complicité, of complicity, renforcer means to strengthen or to reinforce, pretty uh, similar to English. Renforcer leur lien, which would mean their le lien means um, connection, right? Their connection. La vieille dame, we know it already. It means the old lady. Connaître means also to know. Bien, in this case, means well, but bien can also mean good. So, when you say something like très bien, it means very good because it is used as an adjective. Here, it is used as an adverb uh, when it is it is following a verb. Je connais bien les rues means I know well the streets, or I know a lot about the streets, right? Here, the old lady we want to say was knowing well the secrets of the nature, les secrets de la nature, qui l'entourait would mean that was surrounding her, right? Entourer means to surround. Elle savait, she knew, où means with an accent like this, and be careful because there's a lot of confusion on this one. Où with the accent means where, and où without an accent this accent on the u means or, that is junction or. So many people make this mistake of putting or not putting the accent in the wrong places, and they basically change the meaning of the sentence. And therefore you have trouver, which means to find. Le meilleur means the best. Herbe means herbs. So it's pretty straightforward. Pour soigner les maux means to cure the diseases. Soigner means to cure, to take care of, depending on the context. All right. Les maux means the maladies, the diseases, anything related to the word disease, right? Et comment faire pousser? Now, the thing is, there are many, let's say, expressions that you can, let's say, there are many words you can adjust in order to basically say things in a passive voice. So when you want to say something that this pie was done by Andrei, you can also say it like cet gâteau a été fait par Andrei, which would basically mean, right, like it would be a translation mot à mot, we call it, word by word. Or you can play around with it and use this let's say way of expressing faire plus a verb at infinitive in order to basically relate an action that was done by someone else with an active voice. Andrei a fait uh, cet gâteau or something like that, right? Or Andrei savait comment faire partie quelqu'un. Andrei knew how to make someone leave in order to say someone left because of Andrei or because Andrei made him do it, right? There are, let's say, a small amount of words in order to do that. Going ahead, les plus belles fleurs dans son jardin, which means basically the most beautiful flowers. Dans son jardin, le jardin means the garden. Sa sagesse, la sagesse means the wisdom, comes from the word sage. Then, which means like full of wisdom, right? Était précieuse. Précieuse is the feminine of précieux, which means precious. Pour les habitants du village. Les habitants sont are the inhabitants. Now, I'm going to go ahead and conjugate this. So, how am I going to do about it? Se souvenir is a verb, even though it ends up in er. I'm sorry, OIR. It's going to be conjugated like a third verb. Third group belongs to the third group, right? Because some verbs in the third group, I mean most verbs in the third group, would either be ending in YR, in OYR, or RE, right? So in this case, you basically take out the YR. It's unusual case, no exceptions over here. You take out the YR and you have just this. Se souvenir. This would be the radical. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Se souvenir. And you have a YT. Marie se souvenait des soirées passées à boire du thé chaud avec sa mère, alors qu'elle, now you have coudre. Coudre, when conjugated in the imperfect tense, you have to take out the RE, right? And then you have to attach the conjugation, the specific termination. However, there is a change here, and you will see this with most, let's say, most verbs that have like a vowel then DRE. So basically, you're going to have something like this: ku, z, and the termination AYENT, right? And we see it over here. Basically, the D becomes S, and you have kuze. Same would happen to other conjugations like this. Then we have sa mère lui avait appris à coudre de belles robes et à faire des ourlets parfaits. Ces moments de complicité renforcés, basically you take out the ER, but now you have to be careful because you have here basically something like you have a C with a cedilla because that C that was there followed by ER, now when conjugated it becomes with cedilla. It's just a rule, a French rule. You don't really have, let's say, a way to know it just by practice. There is not really a, let's say, a definite way of doing this. You just know that when conjugated verbs that follow this certain pattern, a C followed by the group ER, you have to use when conjugating the cedilla. So you basically have, let me find the cedilla somewhere so I can put it over here. The cedilla. Yeah, I think I found it. Let me copy it and paste it over here so you can have it. and I'm going to mark it as green. Around français. And we have A-Y-E-N-T because this is the termination that refers les moments, which are multiple. Right. Coming back, we have the verb connaître, which is going normally, if you were to follow the usual, you'd have to take out the re and you'll put ayt. Well, in this case, renaître, for example, connaître, verbs that follow this pattern, a-e-t-r-e, verbs that follow like this will be conjugated like this. You would have connaître up until over here the same. Then you're going to have a y, so the e becomes y, ss, right? So you have this that is different once, and then you have the rest, basically the termination, that I'm going to mark in red, so you can distinguish from the exception over here. So I have la vieille dame connaissait. If you would have said it in plural, les vieilles dames, you'd have A-Y-E-N-T over here. So basically the Y-I-S-S part does not change somehow at other subject pronouns. La vieille dame connaissait bien les secrets de la nature qui l'entourait. Entourer is a French verb that follows the structure that we have, and you have something like this. Entoure, and you would put A-Y-T because it references the nature. The nature is the subject of this sentence. Then you have the rest. Elle savait où trouver les meilleures herbes pour soigner les mots et comment faire pousser les plus belles fleurs dans son jardin. Sa sagesse était précieuse pour les habitants du village. And lastly, we have this exercise, which I'm going to leave as homework for you. I hope that you will pass it with flying colors. I hope that you understood what I've tried to tell you so far during those exercises. And tell me in the comments if you want more exercises like this, if you like this type of exercises, if you enjoy them, if you find them useful. And tell me also how many of these verbs, these 5 verbs that you have to conjugate over here, you got right. I'm going to also make a slide and attach it at the end with the solution so you can take a look at it. For now,